Okay, so we're on round two, walking around. I've had a lot of people watching me, so we'll see if there will be any activity this time around. Me being a white female, even though I hate that word because I'm Irish or rather Caucasian. Ooh, I dropped my wallet. We'll see if this time is any different. Walking around. Ooh, and I dropped my cigarette. With my legalized weapon, and I'm on public property. I have my CPL. So we will see if that bothers anybody. Really disgusts me that if this was one of my Duke kids, the cops would have been here already, and I know for a fact because it's been done. Unfortunately, I wasn't with them to record it, and it was about a year or so ago. But we'll see how this goes. Because legally, with your Second Amendment, especially with your CPL, you are allowed to walk the streets as long as you are not committing, about to commit, or anything a crime, which I am not. Got too much to live for, too sick to be going to jail. I just want to educate people on what it is that is going on here in Taylor. Unfortunately, what mostly goes on here in Taylor, Michigan, with the PD is that they go more for a minority than for a Caucasian person. Now, I have no tooth in. My teeth are decaying, like I said in my last video. I am very embarrassed to not have my tooth in because I think people look at me like I am on drugs. But I'm doing it purposely for when or if the police ever do get called again or swing back around and try stopping me or anything to that matter. I am having it out so that they can go ahead and do what they do best, which is profiling. They will profile whoever they want, whenever they want, but mostly it is the minority group that gets it more than anybody. Not saying that Caucasians don't, because I've been a victim of them violating my rights, but the violence, the brutality of Taylor PD usually falls more on a minority status. So we're going to go ahead, keep walking for a bit. If this what doesn't work, I am getting exhausted because I'm not used to all this. Oh, I hear sirens. So yeah, turn back the other way. I'm hearing more sirens. I just want to make a point of utilizing your rights, knowing your rights, and not being blind to the fact that these officers take gender, disability, and race into consideration on how they handle situations. So I have had to deal with them harassing me as a woman, as a mom, etc. But I have never and will never experience the racial part of it the way that way too many have to. And if I can have it my way, I will do this until a change starts to be made. So the only thing that I will be doing if they did stop me would be to give my CPL, because it's legally required when you have your CPL, and my ID because that's legally required. Other than that, I will not be answering any other questions because I'm not doing anything wrong and a crime is not being committed and is not about to be committed. So, I like the fact that this live is going because honestly, my phone is a POS from Metro. So, I gotta walk back by my property so that I can drop my cigarette butt, actually, because I don't want to be littering. Actually, I'll just put it in my bag. Been getting a lot of looks from people, but don't know if anybody has called. So, kind of walking aimlessly up and down the street, because in the cop's eyes, I consider that suspicious. I'm on public property. See? Public property. Sidewalk. But we'll see how that all works out. You know, if this was anybody else, they would have already been called. They'd be mob deep. I can't stand that part of everything. And the fact that I really need to sit down. I don't even have any shoes on. So, we'll see how all this works out. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it. I'm really just trying to do this for everybody else. It's really important to me that people know rights as citizens. They know the safety of what they're doing, and they're educated, because I wasn't, and my rights got violated because of it. And we have things in the works that I can't discuss because of it. So I am doing my best to try to show points on Taylor PD especially. If you guys go on Wolverine's page, he has a lot of stuff up there. As a matter of fact, he did a Secretary of State videotaping 2 years ago. And I want to go up there at some point and see if the laws have changed. Well, not the laws, but they have changed, I guess is what you can say. So one thing about live video is that you cannot edit it. So when I sound like an idiot, I sound like an idiot. I totally want everybody to feel like they can always use their First Amendment freedom of speech when contacting my channel, commenting, or anything else, because that's the beauty of being in America and having our rights. So I don't discourage even things that I don't really want to hear or that I might not like. I truly just want to hear the opinions of others, what I could be doing differently to help you guys, what I can be doing differently in any aspect, what you guys would like to see, what you guys might be confused about with your rights, everything to that nature. I want to be able to do for you guys because I didn't have anybody do that for me. And then the fact that I had no real upbringing on anything. I basically rose myself. I kind of then get taught things like I've been teaching my children, and I hope everybody teaches theirs. Now, I have not seen one drive by again yet. They're gonna make me exhausted. I'm gonna need a nap. Whew. But this just proves the point is that in Taylor, a Caucasian person can walk around with a visible gun shown on their persons, and there is not a damn thing that's being done about it. But if a minority had done that, then it'd be a whole different ballgame. And it'd probably be totally unsafe for them to be in puppies. In the streets with their guns being shown. Yes, there are people out there that are using their weapons incorrectly. I went through a CPL class to put my kids into their own gun safety class. Made sure that I have done everything to make sure that nothing irresponsible happens with my weapons. I am very, very careful with them. And when I take it off, it will be being put away in my safe, which has a 3 security lock on it. So everything I'm doing is perfectly legal. So far, cops have been called once. In my previous video, they just looked at me and they never came back. So, I don't know. I know I'm getting exhausted though, and if they really, this baffles me. How is it that I know somebody who is a minority that is doing the same thing as me, except they weren't recording. They just were walking back and forth up and down their road so that they could try to lose weight. Yeah, lose weight. Okay, that's why they did it, to lose weight. They weren't in the safest neighborhood, so they had their weapon on them. And you know what happened? A ton of cops surrounded, and question was put on the ground and was arrested. Later, all charges were dropped. But point of the matter is that this person, all they did wrong was be the wrong shade. That's it. They were just the wrong shade. And these cops think that they have a right to do whatever they want on your guys' taxpayer dollars. So I think that that's extremely... I can't say the word. I can't stand that you can't cuss on this because I cuss like a sailor. I am exhausted. But it's worth it if it saves one person's life trying to do the things that I have planned and what I'm trying to do, then that's all that matters to me. I don't care about anything else. I want my family, my friends, my community, everybody to be safe, to be treated as equals. I want the cops to obey the law and stop violating our rights. And all that I can do is doing what I'm doing now. Legally doing things that would provoke them to be called or to come out, which again I think is absolutely stupid. That if somebody did call, they will let them know I was a Caucasian female, and that's why they're not out here like that. See, last year my daughter worked at the Meijer in Taylor, and I was going to pick her up from work, and she wasn't out yet. And as I was driving, I saw about 7-8 cop cars, lights on, speeding. Noticed they were going to Meijer. Scared the heck out of me. It's like my daughter's in there. I had no shoes on, just like I don't have on now. And when I got there, I got out of my car and I started to try to go in. Thankfully, my daughter came out. Then we're sitting there. I think I'm going to have to go back because I think I have a video of part of this incident. They went in there for a shoplifter of like a 16-year-old African American / black, person, young man. And if he wouldn't have been in Meijer with everybody sitting there watching, and they had guns on them, they had them out when my daughter was coming out. They got out of their vehicles with them, mob deep, for a shoplifter. And a 16-year-old boy, I don't care about your race. I don't care about none of that. Like, come on, you need 6 cop cars to do that? That is ridiculous. It's totally uncalled for. Yet I've watched Caucasian people still. You're lucky if you even get the cops called. Or you get one cop and they have you write a little statement, and then they'll have you go to court later, and more likely than not, nothing comes of it. This is just absolutely asinine. I hope I can say that word. This is really disappointing that they will treat anybody differently. And I don't agree with it. And I will keep fighting it. And I don't care how crazy I seem. Because eventually, if you get enough people standing up, united, like this country has been forever and a day supposed to be, then maybe we could finally make a difference. Maybe these kids could go to school without fear. Maybe we could all get along without having to worry about anything else, because we all bleed the same. We all hurt the same. The only thing is that we aren't all treated the same. As much as people would like to think that they are, they're not. And that's what's sad. And I've watched it happen with my own eyes. And I'm not for that. So, yet again, it's been 19 minutes and not even a single cop has pulled up. 2 pulled up on the last video, but they didn't pull up on me. They just looked at me and left. But if I was a person of minority, it would be a whole nother situation. And anybody that wants to dispute that fact, I'm sorry, but we're going to have to say you're incorrect. And I guess these videos are somewhat proving them. So, oh, hold on, I got somebody messaging me now on something that I'm not guessing on YouTube. Let's see. I don't think it will let me capture it, but still nothing and nobody. I really need to sit down. This is stupid that you can do this. I'm gonna try on a main road next time. See if I can get other people's attention. I have to make sure that I stay on public property. So I appreciate any feedback, any and all kinds. Um, and I hope that everybody, stays united and helps one another. We all bleed the same, like I said. We all should be able to stand up for our rights without fear. Please go to SJJ Auditor, Wolverine Auditor. Also, look up Taylor PD, Michigan audits. You will see the brutality that some of the citizens have to go through. And I wish I could have made a bigger difference today. I'm going to try one more round here in a second. I have to sit because, as some of you know that are on my page, I have an illness. I hate saying that I have cancer because I don't ever want anybody feeling sorry for me. So many have it worse than I do. Even though I'm not responding to treatment or anything like that, I still try to think of what other people are going through and what's going on with them and all that stuff before myself. So hopefully my third round will show that these guys are taking things seriously. I have neighbors that do not like me. If anybody is wondering why it is that I am walking on my street, it's because I am more hood, quote unquote, this comes from their mouths, than they are. They're suburban, standard type people. I'm not judging, but that's how they basically introduced themselves when I moved in, and they look at me as an issue because I have spunk. And I think all of us should have some spunk in us. I have some good neighbors. One's across the street right now, washing his car. But the ones that don't like me have been out and staring, so I'm surprised they have not called on me yet. I will be making another video if anything does occur, but I won't be wasting anybody's time if it doesn't. So only if the police show up will I make another live video today. As I said, I would like to see if Secretary of State has learned anything from their mistakes 2 years ago with Wolverine. And I'm going to go in there with my camera and see what they have to say about that. Hopefully they learned their lesson. But 9 times out of 10, they didn't. So, what did we learn today? We learned that here in Taylor, Michigan, as long as you are a Caucasian, you can legally carry your gun on the street. You can see cops, they can stare at you, they'll walk away or ride away, and they won't bother you. Now, If I was anybody else, I promise you this would have not been the case. Again, though, I would not prove that by endangering anybody else. So, unless I had any volunteers, that is not going to happen. So, what we'll take from this video is that Taylor PD does not save lives. They don't treat all lives the same. And that we all should be standing up, wondering, and making sure that one another is taken care of, especially our community of color. We all bleed the same. I know everybody has their own thoughts, beliefs, all this and that, but let's get real. And this is part of my First Amendment, is that I am absolutely colorblind. And I don't mean like I can't see the fact that there's a blue car in front of me or whatever, or a red shirt on the motorcycle dude that just drove by me. I mean, I don't see people's colors. I see people as who they are. You cannot profile somebody due to gender, disability, age, or race. So if we've learned anything today, I guess that would be it. So I will only be live again today if the cops do show up. I am going to sit my very sore butt down for a second, take a drink, hydrate, and get back to work, because you guys are my number one priority. Being able to educate, being able to do the things that I do is a privilege here in America, and one that I plan to take full advantage of so that I can keep my fellow man, woman, child safe if possible. I get told that, this does not happen, that people have been trying to do this for years and it won't help, but it's those kinds of thoughts that make it so. If we all stand together, then we don't have to worry about that stuff anymore. We have to start looking at each other like people and nothing else. So, with all that said, I think I figured out how to exit this thing now, and I will be back on if the police show up. And in the meantime, send me your guys' feedback, your comments, negative, positive, neutral, whatever it may be. Use your freedom of speech. Use your First Amendment right. Tell me how you feel. All right. You guys have a wonderful one. I'll be in touch. Bye.